Hello, this is Pastor Scott Conway at QXChurch. We are talking about the QX Life Transformation System, the Quest X Life. You look that up on QXChurch.org if you want to know more about what that X in there means. But we're talking about how to transform your life, some practical steps on how to actually make it happen. We're in the section of what do I choose? Your three main questions are what do I choose? What is my plan? And how is that working out for me? What do I choose? Part 3 of 3, and we're going to introduce the beginning of what is my plan. So here's one key thing in what do I choose. Define the win. What do you mean by winning? Now, one of the things that I do is I'm a martial arts instructor. As a martial arts instructor, I do teach self-defense, and one of the things I teach is to define your win. So if it's the end of the day, I'm on my way home to have dinner with my family, and some bad guy comes up and he's looking to cause me some trouble. Maybe he wants my money, and if he gets my money, he considers that his win. Well, what's my win? Do I have to beat him up? Is that my win? Do I have to engage him and back him off? Is that my win? Or is my win as simple a thing as I was going to go home and have dinner with my family? If I get to go home and have dinner with my family, I win. So if I see him coming and I think I have time to get in my car and head off before he gets here, he might be over there yelling at me, clearly looking for a fight, and I just get in my car and I leave and I go home and have dinner with my family. Did I win? Yes, I won, at least as far as I'm concerned. I won. Now, what if he shows up? He's kind of getting in my face. He's not dangerous, but I decide I'm just going to lay this guy out, and I leave him a bloody mess on the ground, and the police come take a look, and they arrest me, and I go to jail. Well, I beat the guy up, but did I get to go home and have dinner with my family? No. So did I win? Well, if I define winning as I need to engage with this guy and I need to beat him up, well, then I might think I won, but I was on my way home to have dinner with my family, and now I don't get to go home and have dinner with my family. To me, that's not winning. So you want to define the win. Understand, what do you mean by winning? How do you know you have won? How do you know you are winning? So if you set a goal that's just maybe more or less or something, how do you know if you're doing well? You can have a total win, that you got everything you wanted. You can have a perfect win, that you pulled it off without anything going wrong. But you could also have partial wins. You could be winning where you haven't achieved what you want in the time that you wanted to get it, but you're getting there. That you're on your way. Maybe what you've been doing is learning along the way that it's not quite the process you thought it was, but you are still getting there. You're still making headway. You're still moving forward. It's better than it used to be. So maybe that's winning. That better is good. Better is winning. You're winning. Winning is good. Maybe you have a qualified win, that you got part of what you wanted and something else you had to let go, or there were some trade-offs. Maybe you weren't prepared for. Maybe you didn't expect. But you got a partial win. You got a qualified win. Some wins can be as simple as it's better. Remember, better is good. Better is winning. Now, here's a key thing on defining your win. What according to whom? What according to whom? Now, the whom is more easily a what. What according to what? If you can have an objective measurement. If I'm trying to lose a certain number of pounds, I might say, X number of pounds according to this scale in my bathroom at my home. And that's the official scale. That's the one that's going to count. Or it might be to be paying off my credit card at a certain rate so that the balance is below this number of dollars by this date. And that's my win. So whatever it is, what according to whom? The bank balance according to the online account? The pounds according to the scale? Exactly what? Now those are easy when it's an objective measure. Some of the harder ones are things if I want to get better at listening, or if I want to get better at customer service, or I want to get better at connecting with my kids. Those are a little bit more challenging. Then you're getting into the more subjective area of what according to whom. What according to whom? What is it you're trying to do? And for whom are you trying to do it? So, for instance, we'll take a business example. If I decide that I'm having challenges at my work, I'm having challenges running my department. And after I've talked to some of the people, or maybe I have a coach that's gotten some feedback, and I've realized, part of my problem is I'm so busy telling, I'm so busy being the boss, maybe I'm not listening as much as I should. That I don't know some of what's going on because people have told me that, well, you don't listen when we try to tell you things. And so we just stop trying to tell you things. Okay, well, I need to do something about that. I need to be a better listener. Well, what according to whom? Well, what a better listener? According to whom? The people that I work with. Now, maybe I need to get what's called 360-degree feedback, preferably confidential 360-degree feedback. That means someone else gets the feedback, and they tabulate it, and they just give me a summary. So I don't know exactly who said what, and I don't know exactly, what an individual's opinion is, but I do get a general idea. Am I getting better? Am I getting worse? Am I being a better listener according to my coworkers, according to my team, according to my clients? Whoever it is, I'm trying to improve for. The people who need to be the ones who see the improvement. Now, sometimes there's a little bit of a judgment call. Now, if you're doing it in business, well, it might include clients, owners, supervisors, peers, direct reports, a subset. In your personal life, it might include your spouse, your children, family, friends. When you're dealing with some of the things, you have to decide who is my measure. So say, for instance, if I decide I want to be a better dad, well, who's the obvious person to go to for being a better dad? Is you go to the kids, right? Well, what if you can't necessarily trust the kids? If you're going to talk to the kids and say, well, how's your father doing? Is he being a better dad? Well, if their standard of a better dad means I let them do what they want and I let them eat what they want and there's no rules and no restrictions and they get their game systems, well, maybe you don't want to use their standards. Or maybe you want to be much more specific. Maybe, in a case like that, if you can't necessarily trust the kids' standards, you might want to go a better dad according to the mom. Where I could talk to my wife and ask her, how am I doing as a dad? What's a couple of things I could do to be a better dad? And she could give me some ideas. And then I could factor those into a plan, and then I could try to be a better dad according to the observations of my wife as the mom. So what according to whom requires some judgment. What according to whom is who are you going to use as the person who's going to evaluate how you're doing. If you have an objective standard, a what according to what, that's easy. But you may also need to make a judgment call of what according to whom. And depending on who it is you're going to be working with might determine how specific a measure you want to be. So I'm going to do it with my kids. I might want to be a better dad according to my kids. Like, okay, well, that might be nice, but better dad to a kid might be a little bit vague, a little bit ambiguous. Maybe if I adjust it, so okay, to the dad to the mom, it's better dad. The dad to the kids, it's do I talk to you? Do I listen to you? I want to be the kind of dad that talks to his kids and listens to what you say, so that I care about what's going on in your life and I care about what you're learning in school. And that's my goal. Now, with my wife, it might be better dad. With the kids, it's someone who will talk to you and someone who will listen to you. And you can make it much more specific with certain people. If I'm trying to be a better husband, well, maybe better husband generically with my wife. She might be able to give me a few ideas and something called feed forward as part of a planning system. But it's possible that I might want to be more specific. I want to be one of the kind of husbands that is really present, so that when I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm here. That I'm not, lost in television, lost in the magazine, lost online. I'm with you. And that might be, what I said, is presence. Am I being fully present with you? And I might set some standard. It could be as simple a thing as, am I getting better at it? Am I getting worse at it? Could be, at least a couple of times a week, I want to make sure I'm fully here for you for at least an hour, at least twice a week. And that might be my standard. Have an objective standard, but then she's going to tell me how well I'm doing at present, at really being here. And that brings us into quantify the subjective. Now, it could be a simpler thing of, am I getting better? Am I staying the same? Am I getting worse? Say +1, 0, -1. If I want a stronger scale of improvement, it might be a +3, +2, +1. Improved a lot. Improved some improvement. Nothing really changed. And then the negative numbers, it got worse. A little bit worse, a lot worse, way worse. And so by using that scale, the +3 is a lot of improvement, +2 is improvement, solid improvement, and a +1 is a little bit, and the 0 is it's really not getting better. Then you have a more objective framework. Now you want to use that bigger scale, especially if you're doing 360-degree feedback, even 180-degree feedback. You might just be going peers and direct reports. You can also use a quantifier. A quantifier is you take from +10 all the way down to -10. 0 is, it's kind of neutral. Positive numbers are good, negative numbers are bad. And in a case like that, what you're going to do is you're going to start off with, where are we now? Where are we now? Are we good? We're just not really all that good. Maybe not nearly as good as we want. Maybe we're at a 4. We think we should be at an 8. Maybe we're at a 2. Maybe it's bad. Maybe we're at a -2, -4. You could be doing a business thing and, we're losing money, we're losing customers, we're at a -4. We need to at least get up to a 0 so we're not bad. Or it could be that things are going pretty good, we just want to make them better. Could even be that, we think that things are awesome, we have a good, say if I'm dealing with a marriage, and we rate the marriage is, it's running about an 8. That's really strong, we're connected, we're good family stuff, but we can do better than that. I think we can take that 8 and we can make it a 9 or a 10. Let's take it up to the next level. And that could be something that you're doing. So there's any number of ways to quantify the subjective, and all you're doing is you're just taking it and you're putting a number on it. And it could be a subjectively determined number, and that someone is going to kind of take the vague feeling and they're going to try to quantify and say, okay, well, let's see, on a scale of 0 is neutral, a 10 is like as awesome as it can be, a -10 is, oh my God, why are you even here? Probably feel about a 6. And it gives you a way of getting a measure from them. Like doctors will do the same thing with the pain. They'll ask you, okay, how much does it hurt on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 is, I feel like I'm going to die. A 0 is, well, it doesn't really hurt at all. Where is it? And so then the patient can tell them, well, it's about a 4. That it hurts and it's pretty persistent and I don't like it, but it doesn't really stop me from functioning. You say, okay, well, what level would stop you from functioning? Well, probably like a 7. And then that way you can get an idea from them of how much pain they're in. You can do this in counseling and coaching. You can do this as a home group leader. You can do this as a spouse. Just as, how are you feeling today? You might see that someone's upset. Say, okay, well, how are you feeling today? +10 being awesome, -10 being, why am I even here? 0 is kind of neutral. Somebody say, well, probably about -2. I mean, it wasn't a really bad day. Okay, well, what if someone says, well, I'm really doing a good job of containing it. I'm trying to stay calm and leave it at work, but, I'm at a -7. I mean, and then you have an idea where they are. And so you could use this mechanism in a lot of ways in communication to try to create understanding so you can really get an idea where someone is. But you also use it for your feedback system. Now, defining your win. Part of defining your win, what according to whom, get your objective standards, if you can, a what according to what, or quantify the subjective in a what according to whom. But you also want to paint a picture of what the win looks like. This is an emotional word picture. Emotional word picture is you want it to have meaning to you. You want to feel it. That's the emotion. You want to use words and you want to paint a picture. That's an emotional word picture. It's another communication strategy. Just like you could use the quantifier to put a number on a feeling, to put a number on a subjective sense, so you can get a better idea of exactly where someone is or exactly what the perception of something is. And the emotional word picture is also a means of communication. So what you're doing with that is you're looking for usually like a metaphor, something else that has emotional meaning to the people that you're communicating with or the individual that you're communicating with, so that they can get a feel for how you feel about something. And then as they get the feeling based on whatever story you're telling them, Tell them, okay, and this, to me, is like that. And that helps someone understand how you feel. Well, using a very similar process, in this case, we're communicating a goal to ourselves. Now, if you have a goal that just says, get better, okay, well, what's that going to look like? Or to stop doing something, what's that going to look like? So there's a man, his goal was he wanted to stop yelling at his family. He'd have a tough time at work, he'd take it home, and he'd unload it as soon as he walked in the door. He said, this is crazy, I love my family. And part of the solution is simple, well then stop yelling at them. Now suppose, that's a great idea, so he stops yelling, but he walks in instead, completely silent, storms in, throws the door open, slams the door shut, slams it shut so hard he breaks the glass, stomps across, flings his briefcase across the living room. Okay, he's not yelling. Did he technically succeed in his stated goal of don't yell? Well, yeah. Is that really what he wanted it to look like? No. So you paint the picture, you create a picture. Well, what do you want it to look like? Maybe what you want it to look like, you walk in, your kids are usually over in the room on that side, and you say, oh, hi guys, how you doing? How was your day? You go find your wife, maybe she's usually off that direction. Go find her, give her a hug, give her a kiss, tell her you're glad to be home. Maybe that's more what you want. And so you paint that picture. What will it feel like? What will it mean to you? And we're going to talk about how you really pack meaning into it in the next exercise called When I Get Better At. But you start off right here, painting the picture. What will it feel like? What will it mean to you? And then how can you describe it so someone else will know what it looks like? This is a very common challenge sometimes we run into in communication. I'll tell you when I'm counseling or I'm coaching and someone's talking to me about conclusion. Well, she was just acting crazy. Well, that's a conclusion. I don't know what that looks like. So a lot of times I have to tell people, okay, paint a picture for me. That if I was going to shoot a movie and I have to direct the scene of what happened, can you explain to me what you said, what she said, what the other person said, and what happened and how it was blocked out, so then we can reenact it over here and I can shoot the video. Explain it to me in that kind of detail. So that's what you're doing with your words. You're painting that kind of picture. And you're painting a picture that has emotional meaning to you, and you can describe it. And you can describe it in a way so someone else will understand what it looks like. So you visualize what success looks like, so you know. And that you know specifically exactly where you're headed. So you can close your eyes. Okay, I've got this image in my head, and you can tell me about it. Goals that simply say more or less or about stopping something, they're less helpful because it's difficult to picture just what more looks like, what less looks like. And that's how come you have to have some of these quantified measures. But what according to whom? How are you going to know that you're winning? So say if you just want to get better at listening. Okay, what does it look like to be listening? When you're doing it exactly right, what does that look like? What do you do? Are you listening? Go, Well, maybe. Are you repeating back exactly what they're saying? Well, maybe, depending upon the nature of the communication, how important that precision is. Are you just listening to whatever they say and just say thank you? Are you listening and reflecting back to them your understanding of what it is that they've said? And depending upon what kind of listening you need to do is going to determine kind of which way you're going to listen. Or you just sit down, be quiet, and let the other person talk. Maybe that's the kind of listening you need to do. So you have to decide, what is that going to look like, and then you describe the picture. You want to make goals meaningful. Why must you achieve your goal? That's part of the meaning in there, and getting to the feeling. And you're going to use the next exercise to help do that. But you're going to use the words to paint a picture so you know what success looks like. Now, to get more meaning, to get down to that heart of why you have to do this and why it's got to work, you play this game. It's called What I Get Better At. And what I get better at, it's a powerful goal exercise. Because this is the big thing, to dig down and find why. So here's the what. You want to know why. Why is this what so important that we have to do it? So we step to the next part of what is my plan? And we're putting in the how. That we're motivated, we're inspired, I got to do this. I need a plan that'll work. I need something I know I can do. And it's because your why is big enough. I've got my what, I've got my goal. Maybe it's a compass heading goal. Maybe it's a destination goal. Maybe it's a process goal. I know where I'm going. And part of the way you dig down to the why is with this game, when I get better at. This is the big why answer that you're after. Keep going deep. Answer the question again and again. When I get better at for something improvement. Or when I achieve for some specific goal. Or when I have the habit of for a process goal. And whatever it is you're doing, really start digging down. Now this is part of how this game works. Now this was done with a Marine Corps general as this example in this story. And it has really happened. First time around, he had to work on listening. And at first he didn't want to do it, and he really still didn't think he should have to listen. Because, darn it, I'm a Marine Corps general. We have standards. We do things the Marine Corps way. Our standards are high. And he didn't feel he had to listen. Well, the first time around the table, as everyone who's committing to their individual goals is talking, he gives kind of a sarcastic reply. And then one or two more times around, he gives a snide reply. About the sixth time around, all of a sudden, he pauses. One sees his eyes kind of glisten a bit. And he kind of chokes out his answer. When I get better at listening, maybe my kids will talk to me again. His children didn't want to talk to him. His adult children wanted nothing to do with him because he never listened. He always just told. And once he got through that big why, realizing he destroyed relationships, important relationships, the father to his kids, because he didn't listen to anybody. He didn't listen to his kids. He didn't listen to his wife. He didn't listen to any of his subordinate officers. Then it can start to really occur to him, if I've destroyed my relationship with my kids, what have I done to my relationship with my officers? Are there some colonels that maybe have some good information that I would benefit from knowing that might not want to talk to me because I don't listen? Might there be some captains that come in from the field and yeah, they've been there, they've done it, new things are happening, and I don't know about them because I don't listen. Maybe they tell their major and it goes up to the colonel, but the colonel knows. I don't listen. And so I don't know. How many things has someone actually told me? And I never heard them because I don't listen. Suddenly his why got really big. You can do the same thing. When I get better at, when I achieve this goal, when I create this habit. Now, since we are in a church setting, it could be as simple a thing of, when I actually spend time with God every day, when I get into His Word every day, when I talk to Him every day, I could feel a lot more connected to Him. I could feel like I'm being a better Christian. Well, those are all kind of surfacey things. But what if, and they realize that then my kids will see that their dad is serious about his faith. And maybe they will be too. That can move a Christian father's heart. And whatever it is for you, whatever it is you're working on, you dig down when I get better at until you find that thing that means something to you, that opens that gate. I mean, it's your secret gateway into your kingdom of blessings. It's your big why. And it turns to, this is my goal, and I'm going to do it, and this is important, to, I've got to do this. I've got to do this. Because when I get better at, this could happen. And your why gets big. And now, how how becomes necessary. I gotta know how. I gotta have a plan. That brings us to the next question. We're just introducing it. What is my plan? I know what I gotta do. I know why I have to do it. Now, what is my plan? How do I do it? Basic question, what is my plan? A goal properly set is halfway reached. Zig Ziglar. Properly set means you have your plan. You know how you can get there. So what needs to happen? And then what do I need to do? And how much help do I need? So what needs to happen? Whether I do it or not, what has to happen in order for my goal to be achieved? Now, in order for those things to happen, what do I need to be doing? And that's your plan. That's the beginning of your plan. Now, a big thing in here is how much help do I need? We're going to talk about this more as we get into planning because this is huge. How much help do I need? So if you're going to make a change, say we're going to go with the spending time with God every single day. Now, if you use a QX minimum standard, we're going to talk about mom later, minimum, optimum, maximum. But the minimum standard I teach people is create a daily habit of read at least one verse. Or you could memorize a verse and recite the verse. I don't care if it's just Jesus wept. And so every day you say one verse aloud or you read one verse in the Bible. It could be anywhere. You could flip it open. You could go through Psalms. You could start someplace and just read forward. And you just say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Or you say good morning. Or you say good night. Or you pray over a meal. You do one engagement with God. Thank you, God is a good prayer. How long does that take? Less than 10 seconds. 3 or 4 seconds every day with God. Okay, well, that sounds easy, but how much help do you need? You just need to decide and you can do it? Do you need to put it on the list so you do it? Do you need to put up a post-it note on your mirror? Do you need to have someone ask you every day, hey, did you do your 10 seconds? So decide, how much help do I need? How much accountability? How much feedback? How much of a reminder? How much of a boost do I need so I know that I will actually do what I need to do on my promised schedule? How much help do I need? So what needs to happen? What do I need to do to make it happen? And how much help do I need to make sure I do my part? And how much help do I need could also be, do I need a team? Do I need to gather other people to help me out? That's part of it too. But the simplest part is, do I need help to make sure I follow through? And if so, how much help do I need? So that's it for today. We're going to go into what is my plan, part 1, in the next lesson. We finished, what do I choose? What is your goal? And what I get better at? Your big why. Dig down for that why. And now we're going to work on how. What is my plan? We're going to build that how. Thank you.